Hey friends, it's Dave. This is Sober Plant Guy, the YouTube channel I started 4 months ago at the time I'm filming this, and I monetized it in 10 weeks and 3 days, to be specific. That is not something I thought would ever happen when I started the channel. Quick note, if you are a regular viewer of mine and you're here for the houseplant talk, stick around if you want a little bit of the origin story of how this got started and what you've meant to me through this brief journey. If you don't want to hear all of that, I don't blame you. Catch me in the next one. We're going to talk about more great houseplants, I promise. There were a moment in time in my adult life that I wish I could just freeze in amber. It'd be about 27 months and a week ago, where physically, mentally, financially, career-wise, I was really at a peak. And then I got COVID. And while I was quite ill, I didn't anticipate that it would affect me as dramatically as it did and has. I got long COVID. And I lost my ability to read for comprehension. So I cannot read prose, be it fiction, nonfiction, instructions, and the fatigue that I think has been pretty well documented means I lost one of my big hobbies, which is road biking, gravel bike riding, etc. and so forth. I was on medical leave, of course, and I had a lot of time. After several weeks of sitting around filled with anxiety and stress about when will my brain begin to function normally, how can I will that into being, when will I feel better, when will I be able to resume my job. More to the point, when it became clear that this was something, long COVID, that wasn't going to go away quickly. Now, I did not anticipate I would still be dealing with it over 2 years later, but I began to focus on not what I could not do anymore, but what I could do. I realized that I was spending my life not in a very productive way. And wherever we are throughout a day, that is our life. And I was just filling it with stress, anxiety, and dread. And so that's when I decided I have this love of plants. I am going to develop my expertise and take that as far as I possibly can. I don't have to leave the house. I can cull the things that weren't interesting to me, that were just taking up space, and I could cultivate a collection that was really interesting. That is where I discovered YouTube as it is today. Until that moment, I thought YouTube was where you went to look at concert video and to find out how to fix that leaky faucet. I literally had no idea that people put long-form videos up about their hobbies interspersed with their lives. It was so brand new to me. I did a search on whatever it was plant-related, and somebody's plant channel showed up. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I loved it, and it filled up time. And so I obsessively watched YouTube plant channels for a long, long time. And over that time, it's natural to kind of look at something like, I agree with that, I don't agree with that, this doesn't interest me, that does. I noticed that quite a lot of people who were doing YouTube channels had very, very little experience of actually growing plants. And I dropped some of those channels. And late last year, I kind of checked in on a couple of those. And while I would say they've done an excellent job of building the business side of YouTube, I shouldn't say this, but they didn't seem much better at actually growing plants. And I thought, that is something I could do. Maybe my expertise would be of use to somebody. The impediment was, would anybody want to see me do it? The field is dominated by young, very attractive people. And while, yes, I have kept my looks, thank you, I did not keep my youth. But I didn't want that to stop me. I also happened to notice that a lot of predominantly men my age and a little bit older seem to be telling stories of a category that I call things I used to do. You know the stories, the glory days, as Bruce Springsteen said, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 1972. What's happening today is what I wanted to hear. What are you excited about right now? And I desperately wanted to avoid becoming one of those people that every story was back when I did this, or talking about what I could do or what I would do at some point in the undefined future. But again, there was that fear that I would really, really suck at this. I'm so very grateful that my desire to do something that is creative and engaging for me and something that requires consistency outweighed my fear of looking dumb. You know, a very good friend of mine taught me that you really can't die of embarrassment. It will not kill you. So I told my wife one day that I was going to start this YouTube channel. I was going to give myself plenty of time to learn how to do it, given that I learn now very, very slowly, and I don't retain things well at all, like from day to day, in many cases. But that I was going to put it out there. I didn't expect anybody to ever find the channel, so it gave me the freedom to just be me right from the first video. Just be sincere, be unapologetic for opinions that I have earned through experience, and just put it out there. And that's exactly what I did. I spent 4 hours on April 1st filming, not one usable minute, not one. It was discouraging, of course, but I picked it up the next day. I filmed 2 videos, and then the day after that, I filmed 2 more, and I released the first 2 on the same day, and the second 2 3 days later. Oh, my friends, hilarity ensued. I pushed record and had no audio. One of the videos only had audio in one channel, etc. and so forth. The first video I put up is formatted in 4:3, not 16:9, so it's a square. I don't know how I did that. No idea at all. That video has over 3,200 views right now. That's the one the YouTube algorithm picked up and pushed out, and that's the one it got responses to. So that's how that goes. Even without expectations, hopes, of course, that the channel would do well over, 12 or 18 months, but not expecting that. Like I said, truly not expecting that to happen. I did spend some money up front, and not everybody does that. I'm not suggesting you have to. There are people that do it with their phones, but I wanted a decent light for sure because I was going to be showing plants. I wanted a decent microphone, and I wanted a decent camera. And specifically because I had seen so many people struggle trying to show close-ups of their plants, a flower, a leaf, hiding their face, hiding behind their hands. It seemed like at times half the video was consumed with just trying to get something in focus. So I knew that I wanted to be able to hold something up and have it go in and out of focus very, very quickly. So I bought a refurbished Sony ZV-1 Mark II, and I'm sure the Mark II is dramatically better than Mark I, if that's what you have out there. No idea. I also thought that as bad as I knew the early videos were bound to be, at least it might come off as though I were serious about the channel, if it looked good and sounded decent. That was my hope, and it seems to have paid off for sure. So when I posted those 2 videos, I was very surprised that I got comments, and I had already to myself committed that I was going to respond to every single comment, and if there were questions, if I could answer it, I would answer it, and if I didn't know the answer, I would be honest and just say I don't know, which is, I know, rare for a man to just say I don't know and leave it at that. Perhaps suggest a resource from time to time. What I did not expect and could not have anticipated was how quickly people responded to that sense of community. I have people that respond to every video that have been here since the first video. I have people that have just started watching my videos yesterday that are working through the entire catalog, which is, this will be video number 32. So I don't have years behind me of videos, but it's quite touching that people would do that. And I recommend that they start at the beginning and work their way towards the newer ones rather than watching the videos get worse and worse as they go through it. On my 6th video, a viewer had seen a product I made myself, a little do-it-yourself plant trellis, and said, could you do a video on that? Well, what else am I doing? Nothing. Of course I could, but my instinct was, it's too simple. I think other people had done the videos already, but she asked, and I said, of course I will. I put that out. It is by far my most popular video. At the 30-day mark, it had over 500 watch time hours. On my 5th video, 500 watch time hours. So 25% of what I needed to get monetized on that one video at 30 days. I had gained a ton of subscribers from that one video. And to date, I think it stands at 181 subscribers from that one video. So that would be my viral video. And I imagine a lot of people, when they think viral video, are thinking in the hundreds of thousands or more kind of thing, Mr. Beast level, you know, kind of thing. But a viral video is anything that is significantly more popular than what's come before. And that gave me the idea to do what I love most, is to tinker with my plants, to repot them, to get into the nitty-gritty, to get my fingernails dirty. I thought, I can do that on camera. I can not just show plants, but I can show how I grow them, take them out of the pot, show people what problems look like, how I fix them, and most importantly, to me, to encourage people to try different things for themselves, not just what they have seen on Facebook and read over and over and over again. And the viewers that watch my channel normally will know that there are a few things I harp on that I just think is terrible, terrible advice. And I love YouTube because I can show the results of what I do and what works for me. And that's the same with starting a channel. This worked for me. I don't know if it'll work for anybody else, you know, but I think the solid advice is just trying to get a little bit better with each video, paying attention to what people want to watch. The sense of community that I mentioned before has been overwhelming. If you look through any of my videos in the comments, right from the first video, people said, keep going, you're doing a good job. Could I suggest this? One of the earliest suggestions came on those very first videos where people said, could you please put the plant names on screen so we know how to spell it if we want to look it up? I did not know how to do that in editing. I had no idea how to add text properly. So I just put a pinned comment with those plant names. That's where I started. And I would say, you know, they talk about your superpower for YouTube. What's that thing that makes you unique? It's that, for me, I was not afraid to hit record, sit down, do my silly little videos as me without all the cursing I do in normal life, and not be afraid to look stupid, you know, to put that out there. And I think at the end of the day, we all have something of value to lend to somebody else. And I don't know what that is for you. I thought this might be it for me, and it's worked out that way. It's a matter of how do you package it? How do you get it out there? How long will it take for people to respond? I don't know how any of that works. I think I got very, very lucky that my video was pushed out to some people that liked it. And I'm so grateful for that. I mean, it's been just incredible. I know how popular it is for people to do those cringe videos. People who've been on the platform for a long time and look back at those early videos and make the faces and, oh, you know, terrible. That will never be me. I am so proud of those first 4 videos because I look at somebody in those first 4 videos that was quite ill, whose brain was working just horribly and still is, but I know how to edit now. I can take those parts out, and was unafraid to just hit record and just see what happens and put it out there to the world. At this point in the video, if not at the very beginning of the video, most YouTubers ask you to like, subscribe, and comment. Don't subscribe to this channel if you just found this because you wanted to learn about being monetized in 10 weeks. in 3 days, because I talk about houseplants in every other video. This will be truly a one-off, but I wanted to share my experience as a middle-aged dude who gave something a try and couldn't be happier about it. People will find your channel if you grind it out. That I've heard over and over again, and I believe it. I think if you can bring sincerity and your real personality to the channel, it'll happen a lot faster. It did for me, and I am so grateful not to be another one of those men talking about what I could do, what I will do, and God forbid, what I used to do, because that just ain't me.